I'm Tommie Michelle de Leon. I am 21. I'm the youngest of 5 siblings. We went into the foster care system, all of us, when I was in elementary. If I could describe my childhood in one word, I would describe it as chaotic. I would say chaotic because that was the environment. That was what we felt. We went off my dad's emotions. So if he was angry, the house was just gonna be obliviated. He was very abusive to my mom. Even if it was good, it wasn't always really good. It was just better than yesterday. We used to have like a bucket, and so the faucet, we had no water, but it would drip out. And so throughout the day, it would just fill up. And so that's how we showered. But it was always this bottom line of, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know how he's gonna get bailed out. We don't know who's gonna be able to pick you up from school. Can you walk? Like, it was a lot of just day-to-day chaos. The truth was that they had a meth lab in their basement. CPS got involved, and it was hard to lie your way out, and it would all happen very quickly. There was a knock on the back door. My dad opened it, slammed it immediately, and my mom was just rushed me out upstairs, dressed me. She had never dressed me, so I knew it was serious. I didn't think to grab anything. Whatever she put on me, that's what I was wearing. And then she got us down the stairs, and by the time we got to my dad, I recognized that 5-7 officers in our tiny kitchen. This is not okay. And so I clung to my dad while he was arguing with them, and I was like, don't let them take me, don't let them take me. My dad got locked up. My mom had some family here. We came back. And then it just kind of was like shelters to shelter. And then it just at some point, it clicked. I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm just gonna have to do this. So I found myself in a very familiar position of homelessness, very hard-headed, so school became the space that I was gonna fight for. That was the one thing that I was I knew if I could get through high school, I could graduate, I could go to college, and I could be a lawyer. And I wanted to be a lawyer since I was little, and I was seeing my dad in and out of jail, and I was like, I wanna protect you. How can I protect you?
Branching Out is a really cool, one-of-a-kind program where people from any type of background can come and join the program. And so once you're in the program, we help with resume building, job applications. If you're interested in school, so we have a scholarship program, and the role that OHB plays for young people is just kind of like a supportive cheerleader.
Tommie came in, we kind of have a list of things like vital documents and classes and things that you take to go through the program. You got to get a birth certificate. That's how it starts it all, is this birth certificate. And if you don't have active parents, that's really hard to obtain. So you kind of got to get a little crafty. Once you have a birth certificate, all right, we can go get you your ID, your state ID. We're gonna have to learn how to drive. Hours and hours for learner's permit. She passed it, aced it the first time. Being in foster care, you don't really have a lot of opportunities for people that are gonna let you drive their car. So we were able to purchase and provide driver's education for her. That was a barrier that she didn't have to worry about, able to utilize their cars to help her learn how to drive, get her driver's license. Once you have your driver's license, we all know that feeling, it's freedom.
Sarah stepped in, I started working with her, and it was all coming back to that question of what do you want to do? And making those goal-setting plans. I knew college was expensive. In my head, I was like, that's for white people. I was like, that's for people that can afford it. That's for people that have the luxury to further their education. And so to know that I could be a part of the population of people that got to do it meant everything. Knowing that there was someone I could respond to, that there was someone reaching out, that there wasn't this figure it out. And that's just my whole life, was figure it out, and I did. And so to know that there's certain things that I just couldn't do alone, I didn't know how to do alone. Just a real person looking you in the face and telling you, this is what you need to apply for, this is what you need to do this week. I see it as where a mom would have done it, OHB was my mom. I'm a Black Studies major and a Chicano Studies minor. I think trying to figure out what avenue I can really go down. I know that a lawyer is that is the end goal. That is that is where I know my life will lead me. I am the first generation of my family to finish high school and the first generation of my family to finish college, first gen to leave the country and to go to Morocco, and I definitely wouldn't have been able to do any of that without the support of the OHB scholarship. They have opened doors for me in that avenue of education, knowing that I could do anything because of the scholarship allowed for me to do that. OHB has allowed me to create my story.
OHB scholarship really took a big chunk of that burden for her. Tommie's an inspiration. Just to come from, she didn't know where she was gonna lay her head at night, where she was gonna live or what she was going to eat. And yet she had this dream and this goal, and she's taken all the steps to get up to this point and continuing on. Make you take a step back and realize, what they've really gone through, and she's just one story. We help 1,000 others every year. To think that things that are so little, that a birth certificate costs $17. Can you imagine if we didn't have donors? How would we buy that for? It would have affected the whole cycle of how we got her to where we are. They're the biggest vital piece to make this whole thing keep running, to make dreams come true. This is her story. This is her book, her life, and there's so many blank pages that are ahead. Can't wait to see what that looks like filling it in.